Inside Blizzard's developers' infamous Bill Cosby suite. Booze, sexual remarks, and a giant portrait of Cosby are all the center of the Activision lawsuit. Former WoW developer Alex Afrasiabi and the current and former Blizzard developers allegedly posing with a portrait of Bill Cosby at BlizzCon 2013. Wait, do we know Cosby was like bad at that point? I don't think people fucking knew about Bill Cosby like until it reached like peak. I think it was like Hannibal Buress, yeah, in 2014. Yeah, exactly. It was Hannibal Buress that like talked about in 2014. He talked about how like Bill Cosby has done like sexual assault, and that's when it like blew the up afterwards. People knew about Cosby in like 2005, just wasn't talked about in popular media. For most people, these accusations, they get buried, right? So most people didn't fucking know. I'm not even remotely defending them, but if you like point to like previous cases, there's a reason why there is a Burris Remarks October 2014 on the fucking Wikipedia page, okay? We're not talking about like if Bill Cosby was a fucking asshole pre-2013. Yes, of course he was. And he was a sexual assaulter. Of course he was. We know all of that. What we're talking about is, did everybody know? The wildest thing is like there's a HR dude in there. What the? While many claim they weren't aware of the problematic frat boy culture leading to accusations of sexual harassment and assault at the hands of male Blizzard employees, dude, we're doing the same thing liberals love doing. Like, we love aesthetics, dude. We love hyper focusing on aesthetics. It's like, dog, look at the fucking court case. There's enough there. You know what I mean? Like you don't need a photo of them celebrating Bill Cosby in 2013. In 2013 to be like, oh wow, I can't believe they did that. Like, just why? Like, why do we always do this? It's like, keep reading. If they continue the Bill Cosby shit after 2014, then that's really fucked up. And then they absolutely knew. Afrasiabi worked on WoW beginning in 2004, designed some of his biggest quests, and eventually became a creative director in 2016 Legion. He's also the only person outside of Blizzard who was outright named Blizzard President J. Allen Brack, outright named in the lawsuit, a fact that it made it easy so many to try and distance himself from Afrasiabi's actions. During a company event, he hit on female employees, telling him he wanted to marry them, attempted to kiss them, putting his arms around them. The complaint reads, this was in plain view of other male employees, including supervisors who had to intervene and pull him off female employees. Afrasiabi was so known to engage in harassment of females that his suit was nicknamed the Crosby suit after sick alleged rapist Bill Crosby sick. But the Cosby suit was more than just a nickname or a joke based on images and comments of Afrasiabi posts. So they knew in fucking 2013 before Hannibal Buress. Oh, that's yikes, dude. That's like being a fucking nerd about rape. You know what I mean? You know how like the KKK, I talked about it yesterday, like, you know how the KKK, they're like weebs for racism? But the Cosby suite was more than just a nickname or a joke based on images and comments Afrasiabi posted on his Facebook, supplied Kotaku by a former developer at Blizzard. It was reportedly a booze-filled meeting place where many, including Afrasiabi, would pose with an actual portrait of Bill Cosby while smiling. It was also a hotspot for informal networking at BlizzCon, 3 sources told Kotaku, where people looking to make inroads in the company would go to meet and hang out with the top designers. Another image from the same Facebook album shows a screenshot of a 2013 group chat called the BlizzCon Cosby Crew. In it, former Blizzard designer David Kosak writes, I'm gathering the hot chicks for the cause. Bring them, replies Afrasiabi. You can't marry all of them, Alex, Kosak writes. I can. I'm Middle Eastern, responds Afrasiabi. Jesse McCree, currently a lead game designer at Blizzard, then writes, you misspelled fuck. I wonder if they separately, I know the article says that they knew about Bill Cosby and like that's why they said it, but it's like such a fucking unnecessary thing to hyper focus on. But I still don't believe they knew Bill Cosby was a rapist in 2013. I feel like it was perfect naming. Like it unfortunately fit the bill perfectly. Why is it so hard to believe? Because I didn't know, dude. I just like, maybe I'm just so selfish on this. I've never liked Bill Cosby, but I didn't know at all. So I was incredibly shocked when I found out about it. You know what I mean? These are some random fucking developers at Blizzard. They're not like in the industry and they knew about it. It's like having a bunker named after like Adolf Hitler before he rose to prominence within the Nazi party. You know what I mean? And then afterwards, you've done like a load of horrible things in that bunker. No, you're way out with that Hitler example. It like ultimately it doesn't matter. It's still bad regardless. I don't know. When I was a kid, I was kind of knowing he was a creepy dude in like 2008. We didn't know he was a rapist, but he was creepy. I just didn't like his vibes ever. He was a rapist before 2014. People knew. I didn't because I was 13 and didn't know what the Cosby Show was. Yeah, like, I never watched the Cosby Show, obviously, growing up in Turkey. So I never had like that same association as like the lovable America's dad, whatever the fuck people care about Bill Cosby on. Or whatever they care for. So for me, I just always like, I just know him as like Puddin' Pops. And also fucking shitting on comedians for, you know, doing jokes that were bad because they were cursing. Ultimately, it literally doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if they knew or if they don't know. It's such a dumb back and forth to have over, like, the least important part of this entire story. Corey Stockton, currently a lead game designer at Blizzard, and Greg Street, former Blizzard developers, currently working on a new MMO and Riot Games, were also present in the chat. The chat was provided by a series of screenshots depicting a wide array of Facebook posts. Possibly the greatest group chat in history of mankind, Stockton wrote on Facebook. Stockton and McCree did not immediately respond to a request for comment. By 2013, there were already multiple allegations of sexual assault against Cosby, even if a conviction, which later overturned on technicality, wouldn't come until 2018. According to one source with knowledge of the hotel room, the Cosby suite name was a play on the comedian's iconic ugly sweaters and didn't have any sexual connotation, at least not when the joke began. Instead, they suggest the running joke was the rooms in question looked dated like the sweater. One source said they were told it was a reference to an ugly boardroom back at Blizzard's main office, which reportedly had similar patterns. You guys really don't believe that? I do believe that. It doesn't matter because what they did in there was bad, okay? Like, Hannibal's joke was literally that people didn't seem to care that he was accused. Exactly. And I'm using that as a reason for why people probably didn't know. One source told that there was a reference to ugly boardroom, but in all pictures in 2013 BlizzCon hotel room reviewed by Kotaku, the walls were largely black and white and the decor was nondescript. The rug visible in some of the photographs does have a pattern, but it looks nothing like the sweaters in the framed picture everyone is holding. Another ex-Blizzard source pushed back on the claims of the Cosby suit was a joke about ugly boardrooms or sweaters, noting that when Blizzard moved to his Irvine, California campus, the office had been freshly painted and to their knowledge was no infamous ugly boardroom. Moreover, regardless of the source of the joke, many of the captions and comments on the 2013 Cosby suit are sexual in nature. During the discussions with Kotaku, sources who suggested the joke was an innocent play on infamous room somewhere else also insisted that despite his apparent widespread notoriety that was memorable enough to commemorate with a framed picture, they did not know the hotel room belonged to Hasanabi specifically. Two other former Blizzard developers told Kotaku that when they heard about the Cosby suite through Whispers networks, they clearly interpreted it as a reference to the allegations against him. It's wild that these people all knew about the fucking allegations when I didn't. In one image procured by Kotaku, a group of women are sitting in the bed. One of the women appears to have hand on another's breast, which is cheered by the men in the comments. The image is procured by Kotaku and two sources with knowledge of Afrasiabi's alleged predatory behavior. Cosby's reputation was apparently the point of why the group of men gathered around his picture in the photos. It's different in Hollywood, like with Weinstein. A lot of people know in the industry, but it's not common knowledge. There's money to be made, so it's kept hush-hush, and the industry definitely knew. Yes, but with like random nerds that work in fucking Blizzard, unless they're literally weebs about sexual misconduct, which is such a weird thing. Like, it's so wild to just like be knowledgeable about like accusations that most people did not know about at the time. And everyone that fucking says, oh, I totally knew about it, is I'm certain you guys are liars, because most of you are like 16, 17, 18. Ultimately, none of this fucking matters. It's such a minuscule detail to fucking hyper focus on. It's like saying the rune-shaped panel at the CPAC Florida convention is a Nazi rune, and then hyper focusing on that Nazi rune when like the people on top of that fucking rune are literally like talking about blood and soil. They could have called it the fucking Elton John room. It's what they did in the room and what they did in general, and how that culture manifested throughout the entirety of Blizzard Activision is the problem.